On October 28, 1999, a 48-year-old woman named Susan Fassett was found fatally shot, curled up next to her car in the parking lot of the Pleasant Valley Church. She had just come from choir practice when she was attacked. Members of the choir found her and called the police.
When I got here, she was laying on the ground, and the windows in the car had been shot out. It's hard to determine a specific motive, but because this was such a brazen crime, it was out in the open, it was in front of people, it was in an area where you could be very easily detected. It tends to indicate that there's some type of a passion behind it.
Everybody was confident that this wasn't just some random act. I mean, this wasn't a robbery, it wasn't a carjacking somebody brought up. I mean, this was an outright murder.
Because this was not an attempted robbery, and because of the number of shots that were fired, the police immediately considered that Susan Fassett was a specific target. Statistically, this kind of crime is committed by family members or a loved one.
Investigators turned to the most likely suspect. They brought Susan's husband in for questioning. He was cooperative and had an airtight alibi for the night Susan was murdered. Police soon dismissed him as a possible suspect. Who would want to kill Susan Fassett? She had been married for 24 years, mother of two, an active member of her church, and the popular head of personnel for the town.
Susan Fassett works here at the town hall, and now her co-workers and friends are trying to figure out just why Susan Fassett had to die. Her colleagues say it's tough to stay focused on work because Susan is always on their mind.
But, people are struggling with it. There's no question about it.
Nobody deserves to die in that kind of manner, but especially Susan.
Everyone who knew her said she had no enemies. But police began to look deeper into the life of Susan and found that there were rumors of another man in her life. Investigators turned their attention to the other man. His name was Fred Andros, who was well known in town as the city's water superintendent. Andros did not look like a ladies' man. He was over 60 years old and anything but handsome. But despite his mundane appearance, he seemed to have a remarkable attraction for women. He was now married to his fourth wife and had many mistresses, among them Susan Fassett.
When we got down into the nuts and bolts of trying to figure out the true and accurate relationship he had with her, he had said he had sexual intercourse with her on one occasion, and it was approximately a year to a year and a half prior to the murder. And that they hadn't had sex. He was sexually dysfunctional because of certain medical issues. He had diabetes and some other things that rendered him impotent, he claimed. He had said they broke up approximately a month before the murder. He was very distraught, very emotional, and very upset over the discussion of Susan and how she was murdered.
Andros